Hello from GNature.com. This is Mark Josie, and of course G Sifu for my Teen Yet Dragons channel and my disciples. So today we'll be talking about another pretty fun and eye-opening Taoism talk show topic. Now this video I want to be little bit more specific and going into a little bit more like deeper into some advanced stuff. So if you are feeling kind of confused or you're kind of like missing a little bits and pieces of information, feel free to check out my other talk show, especially the one that I talk about this Taoism belief in God. Okay, so that talk show is one of the most essential talk show that actually is required to understand a lot of stuff in this one. Now, this talk show, I want to kind of like make it friendly for the newcomers and also for my fans who actually just some fan just came in this week and saw some of my recent talk show and they requested for some very like advanced topic, some stuff that is hard to explain in short. So I try to lead people into this topic. Now, this topic is going to open your mind and your eyes of wisdom to know what real Taoism is. Now, a lot of people in the Western culture are digging into Taoism these days. And it's not a bad thing. Okay? Not a bad thing. If you Google or YouTube search about Taoism, you see a lot of different things about Taoism out there. But most of the stuff is pretty much on the surface only, and you don't really see what the real stuff is about. And then if you actually go into Asia, you see all the weird stuff going on. And that's right. It's kind of weird, okay? So it's hard to find the real thing for yourself. And not saying that which sect is right, which lineage is right, but I'm making this video to present you after so many years teaching and doing this stuff as my career. What is real? What is legit? What is Taoism in our lineage? At least from my path. And after you listen, you can determine if this makes sense or not. But the main thing you got to remember is this is my career. I do this for my whole life, and I help people with my surface, my teachings, and such like that. So if someone come over and want to kind of doubt my abilities or my knowledge, the first thing you got to realize is, are you a professional in this field in order to judge me? Or are you just someone who just come by and try to start a war with me? Okay? If you are those who just come by and try to start a debate, get the hell out of here. Okay? I am not here for debate. I'm just here to share with you guys about what we discovered, what we learned about what Taoism is, really, after so many years of doing this thing, servicing people, providing our help to people, and doing real Taoist magic. Not from the books, not the DIY, the stuff that you can buy in the bookstore and then try to meditate and do some crap yourself. Not that kind of stuff, okay? We do real magic, solving real life-threatening situation for people. I'm talking about one of my disciples got a problem with this spiritual issue, and he encountered this evil crap that actually haunts his whole family, and he witnessed how his their kids, the children, got possessed one after another, and they have to do the magic to fix the problem, to save their own kids from the possession. And it's very freaky when you actually see that happen in your life, like right in front of you. It's like the movie, and you don't really believe this is real, and then all of a sudden you learn all these things and it worked. And so it's not like one or two times by accident, somehow you feel something came. No, Every time you see this, you do it, it works, then it's real, right? And my life is full of these kind of stuff because that's my job. So what I'm saying is honest experience and knowledge. It's not a belief, because belief is like, oh, it's not here, but I believe it's going to work like that, okay? You believe because you don't know. I know because I see it, it's fact. You see it work all the time. You see fire spark up and heat come up all the time. You do not say fire is hot. It's a belief because it happened in your life for so many years. It's not going to be fake anymore, okay? This is not a belief. It's a knowledge, okay? Knowledge. Okay, so let's get into my topic today. What's the main thing? The main thing I'm going to talk about is the perspective of Taoist magic and what is the evil that we're talking about. The evil stuff. You know, a lot of people think about evil and it automatically went into movie mode. Movie like ghosts, movie like evil demons, you know, zombies, whatever, okay? Everything is from the movies because you have no education about this in school. Everything that you can relate to when it comes to evil is from the books, from the movies, from the fairy tales, from the whatever, okay? All that stuff out there, the fake stuff. And then what happened is the evil will create and generate itself in your mind, creating some kind of visual, some kind of effect, some kind of stuff that fits whatever you used to think evil is. And it creates the illusion for you. And it turns into the evil that you think it should be. But while we say that, okay, oh, these evil that you can see is fake, but then it's not like they're fake and that they don't exist. They exist, but it's just not what you see they are. One classic example is I always see that on some like ghost forum and stuff like that. People often say, oh, I saw my grandma come back. I saw my grandfather came back. And, you know, some passed away relative came back. And I see the ghosts of them. And they start talking to them. Well, I always tell them, this is not your grandfather. This is not your grandmother. The problem is, okay, what happened is someone died. Funeral happened. Your mind is all about the death and stuff. And then when you have this evil energy going on, and sometimes it doesn't only happen to you, also to your mother, your father, everyone around you. And the energy gathers up. When the evil energy or the bad energy is there, and you just sub some kind of subject into it, it will shape and form into whatever you want it to be. And it's often not what your brain wants it to be. It's your subconsciousness that want that thing to happen. So sometimes people say, oh, but I don't really, you know, I have not been thinking about my grandfather. I have not been thinking about my grandmother. You don't need to. Because thinking is already the later stage. I'm talking about like your intention or the subconsciousness of you. The very, very, what we call the pre-heaven side of you. The spiritual side of you. That is the body or the mind that actually just work on its own. And you don't even got to control that thing. One example is like this, okay? When you're a kid, when you're a baby, you often do things that you don't even understand why you're doing it. Like the kid when they're baby, okay, very baby stage. You often see baby go like, oh, hey, and then they go, hey. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know yet. They have to learn. And while they learn the human language, they can start to control this uncontrollable body movement. And where does this body movement actually start? It starts from the spiritual side of you. That is your subconscious, your energy side. And this energy side of you, like the energy body of you, will have different action. It makes sense in that dimension because it's like the energy side will want to eat energy. And the energy body of you, the mouth of it, the intake location is from the top and goes down here. So say if the energy body of you is eating energy around you, then all of a sudden that you will see the baby start to eat air, and then the baby will like look up and then start. You don't know why the baby is doing that, but the baby don't know too. But that's like a reflex, like some kind of automatic stuff. Your body do something because it just have the senses in the spiritual side. And it's not like you can think, because the thinking part is already the post-heaven, the physical body's issue. Okay? So when you use your brain to think, that is a much later stage. Now I'm talking about the stage that you don't even get to control. It's your subconsciousness, whatever you call that, okay? That side of you. And that side of you can't be thinking about your grandfather. Because why? You don't have to like your grandfather. It's just because there is a bit of that grandfather energy. When the grandfather dies, okay, his energy have to burst and distribute to everyone around him or that knows him and such. So everyone gets a part of this thing, and it sticks on to your energy body, and you don't realize it. So if sometimes by like some case, that energy gets so strong, and somehow your own body is not really strong enough to balance this energy out, then what happens is this thing will trigger up a lot of visuals and stuff for you in this world to see or sense this, whatever you call ghost or whatever thing, because it's energy created illusion, and it's not your grandfather. This is not your grandfather. It's just because it has a little bit of it. And that's why it can hook up the line and recreate everything. It's like one essence right there. It's not your grandfather. So most people are stuck when they look at this kind of situation, because it's so hard to, say, oh, let's bust the evil. Kill that ghost. It's my grandfather. You don't kill my grandfather. And if you start to use all that human kind of mindset, like people are so into compassion, love, and peace and shit in this world right now, and it's like, okay, you try to use your human to human kind of method to deal with spiritual issues and other world of things which you don't even understand. Then what happened is like this. You try to deal with bacteria using humanity, using compassion. You want to not kill the bacteria, but let the bacteria, just live and feed them, and, just encase them in a little box, and then let it keep happy living there forever, and it will just start growing. It's not going to harm you. No. Okay, we don't do that. Okay, now look at how human and like nature works. Okay, if you look at trees, oh, it's so sad. We should be love and such to trees, and we should not cut down trees. Well, the problem is, if human don't start cutting down the trees, you have nowhere to live. Trees just keeps growing and growing, and it's going to take over the land. You don't have a place to live. You can't just live in a forest and start to build around trees. It's not going to work. The roots is going to flip your house apart, right, later on. So it's not going to work. You see, dealing with other elements, you cannot be going all the like compassion and stuff. It doesn't work that way. And a lot of people are stuck with these commonly accepted good stuff. And they don't realize that it's actually bad when you're dealing with something in another world or an other kind of subject, because you are using the human kind of method to look at, to understand something that is not human. And basically, it doesn't work. So it's like you look at this bottle of cream, and then you don't want to squeeze the cream because you're like juicing it up, and it feels so bad, It's just squeezing, and later the cream will get hungry. You want to feed the cream. What the? Okay? So you get what I mean, right? You cannot use your human kind of logic onto these things like energy stuff. Okay, look outside. The cloud, or say sunlight, the heat. Well, if you're so compassionate and stuff, you should like just throw yourself into the sun and let yourself burn. the sun keep burning. It's so tired. Feed them something. You don't do that stuff, right? Crazy. So people don't understand that spirits or energies or whatever you call those, okay? Any kind of term. The other world stuff, you cannot use human morals or human kind of mindset to look at them. When you do it like this, you will get crazy, and there will be a lot of things that you will run into, and it will just tangle up in your life for your whole life. Now today I want to introduce and actually teach you a concept of what is the word for 鬼, and 鬼 is directly translated as ghost in English. Well, while that there are ghosts, I mean like 鬼 in Chinese, okay? But it's not really like how it is in the movies. So right now I want to introduce you what is the real 鬼 that we're talking about all the time. Now the first thing that comes to mind is 鬼佬. When you hear the Chinese say, "Oh, you 鬼佬," all of you understand. It's kind of like, "Oh, the Chinese is trying to insult me" or something like that. Okay, something bad. It must be some kind of a nickname that kind of insult you because you're not a Chinese. You look like a ghost. And the common understanding of this word is the 鬼佬 is like, oh, they're white because they're white like ghosts. Okay, but why is ghost always white? Why, right? You don't know. People start using the word on and on and on, and they don't really understand why this is called 鬼佬. Now let me explain the property of the energy of this word. Okay, 鬼 is like this. It's when something exits a system from one department to another department. When it exits that department, okay, it's a 鬼 of the first department. Let's say, okay, if I am eating piece of chicken, right? I'm done. When I swallow down the chicken, before the chicken got digested or mixed with the stuff like the acid inside my stomach, those stuff is considered the 鬼 of my mouth. Okay? Now, if you keep looking downward, if this stomach system is done processing all that paste stuff that goes down to the intestine and stuff, okay, the stuff inside the intestine before it get processed is the 鬼 of the stomach. Okay, the 鬼 is supposed to get into action of the next station. Okay. So they're supposed to go to the next station and keep processing onward and onward, and eventually they'll get out of the system. This is a pattern, a principle, you can say like it's a pattern. Okay, it's like something that is very neutral. You can sub in any kind of subject and analyze what is the 鬼 of that thing. Is this a 鬼 or something else? Okay, you can really substitute into anything. And the easiest thing to do is substitute to your own body digestion system when you eat. So just like I say, okay, this is done, next station. The next station, the people who arrive or the things that arrive at the next station and did not get processed yet is the 鬼. Now when they get processed they become something else. Now I'll just stick to the 鬼 for now, okay? The 鬼. Okay, so what is the 鬼佬? Why are people named 鬼佬? The Western people. Why are they called 鬼佬? And when the Chinese look at the non-Chinese people, they are like, oh, this is black, this is white. So they often categorize them as 黑鬼 and the 白鬼because of the color. Okay, 黑鬼 and 白鬼. But black people is not really black. They're kind of brown. So why are they really saying they are 鬼 and not whatever, not human? Why are they not human? Well, this the people who are saying it may not even realize why they choose this word, and their mind just automatically and spontaneously came up with the word because it somehow triggers them in the spiritual side to use a word that can correspond and relate to this thing. And the energy flow of this word of guai actually means that pattern that I just described. So, what kind of property does this guai energy have? Well, the property of this guai energy have the properties of wanting to suck in stuff. They want to suck in stuff to get into action, and it sucks up light, meaning that it sucks up the energy of a department. Because when the food, okay, gets into the next department, it sucks up the energy of your, let's say, the stomach, because the stomach needs to move and interact with them. And when they move, it will digest the guai as it goes. So, when the light, meaning the power, the energy of this department gets sucked up enough, it neutralizes or process that guai inside here. Okay? Like the food, it got processed enough, it got neutralized to a certain state, and it will stop being a guai anymore. It will move on and to the next station. And this next station now got the guai, okay, from here goes down. And this guai will get processed and keep processing, and then it will go down. Now, guai and human and yan is very different, though. The guai stage is where it just keeps on, like, it just exists, and it have this suction power, attraction power in that energy to attract things to it, and then it sucks up the energy of that place. And basically, it's like this energy sucking, or the you can say it's like a light sucking element, light sucking. And light doesn't mean like light bulb kind of light. Any kind of things that it's done and blossoming, it's outputting energy and power is light. If you see like a business, okay, the success of a business is light. When a business is operating and people are working inside, there are light in the business. You see, this is not like, oh, light, lots of light bulbs, that kind of light. We're talking about light as in a finished product giving off its power. Then light is there. This is the energy kind of light, not like physical light. And that is one problem when it comes to translation. A lot of people read those so-called Taoism texts and stuff, and they all try to determine and interpret that stuff by using a physical meaning of the words. And it all leads to nothing but a lot of misunderstanding. For example, if we talk about light and stuff, this is the light. No, this is not the light. We're talking about light as the concept of light. When things is like energy is being used up to produce power, to create a force that outputs outside. This is the light stage of things. When you see, easiest example, when you look at yourself, when you eat, okay, when you're eating, and then you get energy from the food, right? Now, when you are done eating, your body, we say your body is full of light because you are energized to do other things. And so all that energy that is coming up and then making you internally, okay, you are thinking, and this is the light coming out from here. Now you're moving around, light is coming out from here. And it's not like, oh, your body's glowing. No. It's not like that kind of light, okay? Not physical light. This is the pattern, just like the word guai is the pattern. Anything that fits into the pattern, that's the thing, okay? So if you have to, like if you want to learn about what Taoism is about, you got to get rid of those human service physical meaning of word in order to understand the whole big picture and what it's about. And why? Well, listen onward and you will know why you need to understand this. This is very important. Now, about the guai, okay? Guai sucks up the light. So if you have guai type of energy around you, what happened? Now, if you have guai in a business, it sucks up the light. The light can be good or can be bad in this situation. Because, okay, light can be the business success. Now, if the guai is bad for the business, on this angle, then it will suck up the success of the business. Now, if the guai is used on the client, now the light from the client is going to be the wealth of the client, giving out, like maybe the client is having a lot of money, uh, ideas, all these things are light, and it will suck them into the business and grab their money. So it depends on how the ghost is used and what ghost it is. It's not like ghost that is bad. It's bad, 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 bad. Okay, you have to forget that the movie kind of ghost. We're not talking about like a spirit. Now this is like energy type. Anything that falls into that type of energy can be categorized as ghost. Like my other video on the what is God, the God in Taoism. 精氣神, the word sun doesn't mean that there's a sun, like, oh, sun, okay, like a god there. You pray to the god. No, 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 no. The sun that we talk about is a verb. Guai is also similar, okay? Guai is the type of energy. Anything that falls into this energy type can be categorized as guai too. Now, with the guai energy, it sucks up light. When the Chinese people first see the Westerners, the foreigners, they think that they're here to grab stuff, to invade their property, to suck up the light of the country. That's why they are called guai because they come over and suck up our energy's blood. They suck up our light, when guai come. Though, our country, all the Chinese people is losing their culture. All the Chinese people, all of a sudden, everyone is forgetting about the Chinese culture. They think, this is the good stuff. We have to follow them. It's already sucking up the light of China back then. Because the existence of these people, they bring in stuff and it suck up everyone to look at them, to suck up their eye light, the light from the eyes, okay? Look at their stuff because everyone gets so curious, affected by the guai energy, okay? The guai's power. And so everyone gets affected. And this energy from the foreigners just push everyone into action with them, interaction, getting trade, business, a lot of stuff happen, and then what? And then the money from the country is gone to the other side, the other kind of culture, the other people, the guai. And that's why they're called guai because they always suck up the stuff. It doesn't mean that they have to hate the guai, okay? The guai can be good at the same time too. Some foreigners that go to China, they help China to get more developed. And, well, that's the good side of stuff, okay? It's not like they are all bad and it's like one word that you use to insult the people. It's actually pretty fit right to the point because when the guai comes to the country of China, they actually look at it and then they do stuff and it attracts all the people into action with them to digest their stuff and then to spend money to equalize and neutralize in between the two, to digest. It's like, okay, the guai come and they bring in new technology, new music, new everything, and then they're like the chicken wings and stuff coming out from other side of the world. And then this country of China, wow, chicken wings, and then all the stuff, all the people in China are like the acid of the stomach. The whole China is like a stomach. They swallow in these guai and try to get all the stuff they can because they don't know these things before. They're so excited. They try to get all the stuff they can. And at the same time, they have to put their light, their energy, which is the money and stuff, okay, all the effort into these guai and to neutralize between the two in order to get all their stuff and also to output the stuff to them. So they attract the people in China to squeeze out the stuff in their pocket, the light, to them. And this is why they're called the guai. It's pretty much like that. Now with guai around for too long, okay, too much guai in the country, what happened? Well, eventually the guai is more than the people there, okay? The guai gets too overwhelming. And then what happened is it sucks up the whole country, and the whole country is gone. So the whole country became guilified. Okay, so it's like the whole country became like a slave to the Guai, or they are too into that side. They lose their own stance. Like when the Chinese are so into the Western stuff, they really think all of their own stuff is crap. They don't like their own things anymore. They don't treasure their own culture anymore. And that is kind of right, actually. If you look at history, back then, okay, when the China still have like those kings and stuff, it used to be okay, okay? But when there are too much foreigners going in, everyone started to get westernized. It's not like, okay, it's a bad thing. It's a natural thing that happened. But what happened is it gets too westernized, and the whole Chinese culture today, if you actually look at it, most of the Chinese are more like a westernized Chinese than feeling themselves like a Chinese. Not saying that using technology is equal to Western, because there are Chinese people who invent technology too. But a lot of people are like this, okay? Oh, they think that dressing up in ties and suits is more prestigious and more high class than dressing in, for example, like Chinese culture clothing, traditional stuff. But if you look at Japanese, okay, Japanese people is very different. The Japanese people, when they dress in the traditional Japanese outfit, with the robes and stuff, they feel like, oh, I am a Japanese. Very proud. Very like all of a sudden they grew 2 inches tall. It's like, wow. They feel so proud of themselves. They didn't lose their own culture. They are very proud of their own culture. Even though there are flaws and stuff in the culture, people still feel that, okay, if they dress up this way, it means that is their highest honor in their life, to dress up like that and show up like that, say Japanese meeting, okay, like business or whatever, family meeting, when they have their biggest moment, they will think that dressing up like a Japanese is their honor. But in the Chinese culture, if you look at the weddings, people don't even want to dress like a Chinese anymore. They think that is ugly, old-fashioned, bad stuff, okay? Not good. They're like, okay? We're going to dress in westernized. They all want to pretend to look westernized. Dress in the tuxedo and, all the white wedding dress and stuff like that. That is all Western culture stuff. It's not from China. And why does this situation happen today? It's because the Guai is more than the original stuff right there, and they got totally washed out. And that's why the China back then, it's gone. The whole culture is washed and became this kind of situation today. Now, I'm not saying that, okay, this is a bad thing or a good thing. I'm just saying that this is what happened and it's fact. And people have to accept that is how nature rolls. Right? That is how nature cycles. We often go like that. And as you can see, if you look at the Western culture, something that happened on the other side, opposite side, is the Western culture start to lose their identity. And they want to go Eastern. Look, a lot of Western people are now into Eastern philosophy, into digging into like spiritual cultivation. I know, like, this cannot be the best example, but if you look, there are a lot of people in the Western culture now getting interested into doing Tai Chi, doing the yoga, whatever, okay, all this Eastern stuff. They're starting slowly, bit by bit, even though I say, okay, those people who read those Taoism and stuff, they're so shallow into Taoism. They don't really know what it is about yet. But still, you see, it's a baby step. They're coming up slowly. There's potential, okay? But they're starting there. They're starting to go there. While the Chinese is like super sucky in that perspective. Chinese became another thing right now. Like Chinese back then used to be like this, and now they're like this. The Western used to be like like this, and it's kind of like that. So that's how the world works. It's just cycles and cycles. That's what happened in nature, and you cannot really say it's good or bad because it happened that it should be happening for a reason. Now, for yourself, what's important is to realize what you really want to achieve, to choose what you want to believe. Just like I said, you have your own right to make decision. Even like me, as a Chinese, I can choose to be very Chinese, or I can choose to be not like a Chinese, depending what I feel like, right? So trust your own wisdom, look and understand things before you actually dig into it. Now let's get back to the word guai. Why is it so important to understand what this word means? We got into all the culture stuff, and how does it apply to Taoism cultivation, the magic, the real guai that we all wanted to know. Like, oh, this spirit thing, come on, tell me that there are stuff that is really there. Like, that kind of stuff. Okay, you want to know, right? Okay. In this dimension, the physical dimension, okay, we have our physical body. Now, anything that you can witness, sense, discover, see, touch with your body is what we call the elements in this dimension. We call this dimension 8, okay? Number 8. Everything is considered dimension 8 in this world. Okay? If you try to use anything in this world that you can sense or feel or touch or witness with elements in this world, it's all going to be dimension 8 stuff. The stuff that we deal with the magic stuff, are things that actually exist outside of this dimension, in what we call dimension 1 to the dimension 7. Now, there are two major dimensions there that actually have things staying there. It's dimension 1 and dimension 6. It's hard to understand right now, but I will try to explain, okay? The dimension 1 of you, locally, like you and your shadow, they are working together. Like if I move, okay, you see shadow created, right? All of a sudden. If I say shadow is one of your body, you get what I mean, right? It's not like, oh, this is something that follows me around. We're together. It's natural, right? Now, this dimension 1 body of you is one of your energy body of you. And this body is like shadow with your body. It's like your body's energy that it gives off, okay? And in that dimension, you look like pretty much like an egg, a light egg, okay? Like fireball, but egg shape kind of thing. And that energy body of you is not detectable by science. You cannot use science equipment to look at it. Now, you may think, oh, this is so abstract, it should be fake. Well, but the thing is, okay, if you look at Chinese medicine, they talk about meridians, pressure point. You cannot use science equipment to see meridians and the hay and stuff that we talk about. Because all these things are not like a physical subject. They're not solid. You cannot really detect it, but it's there. Now, you may want to say, oh, then it's bullshit. We cannot detect it, then it's fake. Not really. Think about it. There are a lot of things that you cannot detect and prove with physical matter. For example, the love between you and another person, or the feeling between you and your wife and then another woman that looks exactly like your wife. It feels different, right? So, like, if you are married to a woman who have a sister that looks exactly the same as her, and then you look at them, you might get confused. But when you start to stay there for a while, somehow that vibe that gives off from this person compared to this person is different. It's because you cannot detect it with science equipment. It is the feeling inside that you sense. And this is what we call the spiritual side of you. You cannot detect with science equipment, but it's there. Now, this side, this spiritual energy body of you, is what we call the dimension 1, the Fa Sun in Chinese. And then there's a energy, spiritual energy body, like a cloudier form of that body in dimension 6. What happened is the dimension 6 body is supposed to get the energy essence from dimension 1 to dimension 8 so that your dimension 8 can start being a human being, start doing things in life. You can see it this way. Dimension 1 is your battery. Dimension 6 is like the motherboard, the circuits that goes around and the network to channel all these energies through this medium, and then now you are you. And so that your brain can start thinking, your body can start operating, yourself right here knows what to do. Now, if you think that we only need this body to operate as a human being, then you're wrong. Because think about it, there are a lot of people who get into like a veggie state in coma. They will be the same body, the brain is still like ticking. There are stuff pumping in their heart, but they just don't interact with the world. They just sleep. It looks like sleeping. They don't move. They don't respond. But there are some pulse coming out. And why? They're still alive, but they just don't move. You don't know why. And some people say their soul is gone. Well, that's partially true. But mostly is because this battery and the medium is not transferring stuff well to here. It's missing stuff or it's broken. And that's why this thing looks alive because it's not dead yet. But then this is not coming through. It's like a flashlight with very little battery. Now the flashlight will still kind of flick, but there's nothing coming out for real. You can't really see the light. It's like lighter when you there's spark coming out, but just no fire. It's like that. The juice from the back is missing. Sometimes it's the medium that got broken. That's just like a broken cable in some light and electronics. There are power coming through, but the cable is kind of dangling there. Sometimes you see there are some little cells coming through, and then you go, and then here you go a little bit again, and this guy go, but it really doesn't work. And what happened is this body and this body is actually the inside of this body. And what makes this body you. It what makes this body yourself. And you can feel as a human being, you can feel, you have feelings, you have memories and stuff, and they're not actually something that is inside here. They're actually inside here. Now, even if your brain is damaged, it's not like your memory is gone forever. It just means that your brain here, the processor that can output the stuff from here, the number one, is kind of blocked. If you unblock that thing, the memory will come out again. That means that when you damage your brain, memory is not lost. It's not damaged. It's just that the memory is kind of blocked from retrieving because the memory is not here. It's here in this number one dimension. Right here in what we call the fast. This is your heart. In the old days, we all say that we think with the heart. And today, in the modern day, people say that we think with the brain. And then somehow, as I said, okay, the Western culture used to be very Western. The Eastern culture used to be very Eastern. And then there's a certain stage, Eastern culture start to ditch their own thing. And then Western culture will suck in the yeast and they start to grow. Now science actually went beyond what we used to think science thinks like. Science back then think that we all think with a brain, and that's all. So we all say, use your brain, use your brain. But today, if you actually research, science actually said that we have a heart brain, which is the mind. The heart brain is like they try to say that there is energy coming out from here at the center. Your heart is here. Why the center? Right? This is the energy. And actually, they are partially right, partially getting there, but they're only seeing the symptom in this dimension. And also, partially, it's a concept. It's not real. Like the graphics you see, they are just graphics. They're fake visuals created for you to understand. Like when we draw how the magnetic field is like, you don't see that field. It's not real. It's just that you're taught to draw it in a way that depicts what it should be like. But it's not like that. Even though they make it very real with computer graphics, with all the, wow, you see the energy, the smoke, and the light going like this. It's not like that in that dimension when you see it. It's not like that. You don't see the stuff. It's just a fake visual to make you understand. Now, if you actually think about it, this heart right here is actually where you feel, where you have all your mind, the stuff from your mind right here. Okay? It's where you think, where you start to want to do stuff. Any intention grows from here. Now, what is the guai energy of your fa sun, of your dimension 1 body then? In that body, the guai is the stuff that got digested right here down to the lower portion. And these things are supposed to be there to be digested, like energy, digest, and then it will push out of the system, like how we poop. We push it out, and it's supposed to go out of the system and then return back to nature. And then we intake other energies from the top again, and then it will come to the heart. After we're done, it's supposed to go here, digest, and push out again, and then come back here. It's not like not the same stuff coming back, but it's going to go back to nature around, like the stuff around you, neutralized with nature. And then we'll intake new elements from here and all the way down again. And then you start keeping that cycle. You have a nice cycle of life. Cycle of life meaning that you can think, have intention, create stuff, do stuff, think about things like that. Now, when your guai energy is too much, it's like when you ate too much. Okay? When you start to eat too much and you don't go to poop, what happened? You have a lot of stuff that comes in from the mouth right here, the intake. Okay? It gets into your system and stays right here, inside the stomach. And we all like the feeling of feeling full. Feeling full is good, right? Now, what happened when all these things go down here? It's supposed to digest through the system and push out and you poop. Now, what happened if you don't poop and all the stuff is stuck in the intestine area? What happened is, well, your stomach will have a message saying that I don't want to eat anymore, and then you lose your appetite, and then you feel sick, you feel like shit, and you feel like oh, you don't want to move, you feel like so non-energetic. And what happened is because the guai, as the physical symptom right here, showing you that the guai is inside yourself, sucking up light, sucking up the energy of your body. And so your body will not want to move and do things. Meaning that your light, see, the power that is generated by your body is going to be sucked up and you don't want to do anything. And that's why when you eat too much, you cannot poop. You don't want to move. You want to stay there and go, ugh, ugh, until you finally poop that stuff out and go, whew. Finally, ta-da, now I want to eat again. You see, that's the cycle. Now, that's what happened in your physical body. If we talk about this dimension 1 and 6 body, there are more things that you cannot see, but actually can happen. Now, you may think that all these energy stuff is hard to touch, but after I'm done with this example, I'll give you a real life example that you can feel right away. Now, I have this dimension 1 body, right? It's supposed to have this heart pumping, this energy in the fa sum, the heart, and the stuff that is done processing, it's supposed to go here. If this thing is not coming out, not cycling, then my energy body is stuck. The circulation or the metabolism of that body is stuck, and it's rendered as too much guai energy right there. Okay, the guai energy, what happened? It's want to go up and then suck up the energy of your spirit essence body, the Fa Sun. It sucks up and make it not want to move, not want to intake new energy. What happened is this person here will start not wanting to think. It will get stupid. And like you don't want to use your brain to do stuff. You get stupid and you lose wisdom. And because of that, when your guai energy is a little bit too high, what happens is you don't want to do things, you get lazy, and then you get very careless, and then you always think you're busy, and then you start to not want to use your brain to do things. You get very very slack off, procrastinating, that kind of stuff. You want to spend your effort to learn things. You don't want to do stuff. You don't want to use your brain, okay? Use your mind. You don't want to create things. You want to what? You want to suck up the light from outside or from inside. You want to suck up light. You have this kind of mindset. Now, when the guai energy is still down there and away from this heart level, you will just want to be slack off, lazy, careless, that kind of stuff. When it gets too much, okay? When it gets too much, overflow the heart level, this guai energy, like the poop inside your intestine got too full and it comes back up to the poop come back up to your your stomach. What happened is, okay, just like this energy coming back to your heart, the guai energy comes to your heart. Now what happened in that stage is that you will have the intention. This is supposed to control your intention, okay? So you have intention of the guai, which means you want to suck up the light of others. You want to steal other people's success, steal other people's money. All those things that can be categorized as light outside of you, you look and you want to get. You look and you want to get. How much is enough? How much is it going to balance that guai energy inside you? You don't know. Because you have so much in here. And that is why you have this right here. And this guai energy makes you a thief, makes you a thief-like mindset. You want to steal stuff. It can be as small as, oh, I want to just steal the idea of my colleagues and, just steal the idea of this project. Or maybe in school, kids can be stealing other people's pencil, stealing other people's idea, stealing love, stealing people's girlfriend, stealing a lot of things. Stealing doesn't mean that you have to physically grab something and then pocket it. Stealing can be stealing the love, stealing ideas, stealing a lot of things that doesn't need to be physical. Like when you're in college or in school, you see sometimes you have this idea and you have this idea about how to do the project, and then beside you overheard that situation and they steal your idea, and then they know that you're going to hand this in tomorrow at 4 p.m. So they're going to go to the classroom at like 3 p.m. and hand it in before you, so that it looks like that you steal their idea instead. Now that kind of situation can happen, and that kind of mindset can happen when the person have a lot of those guai energy coming up from here to this level in their spiritual energy body. And the more of that guai energy is there, the more you want to suck up and steal from other things. And the more you start to do it, you start to feed the ghost right here. And somehow, if your body is very sick, like the energy body is very sick, it doesn't poop out right here. It keeps building up, building up, building up, and then it will make you very greedy, very evil, very, 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 not even a thief. It's more like a robbery kind of stuff, okay? So people who want to rob, who want to bully, who want to do all that like bad stuff, their guai energy is always very high because of this spiritual issue, this energy issue, and that is why the physical them act like so. As I talked about before, okay, this physical body is only the physical shell. Now, without all the spiritual side of you, the energy of you, the mind of you, this is not going to move, right? You're going to be a veggie like this. maybe doing some robotic automatic movement with no intention, no mind, no here, no heart, no nothing, right? Now with these guts inside, the power, the battery inside, now this is you. This is the lively, energetic you. This is what makes you you, right? Without these, you don't act like you. And why you act like you like right now is because this thing at the back that feels you, it's like that, having this condition. If you have a lot of energy, you will have this kind of symptom. And the higher level that energy gets, the more it contaminates upward. When it contaminates over this level to the top portion of that energy body, what happened is they will get very, what we call, high hand. High hand meaning like you do not do things very stupid anymore. You do the greedy stuff very smartly, like a con artist. They are very high hand. They don't do things like stupid, like, oh, I want to steal stuff, and then, I steal. That's stupid, right? Now they will steal with wisdom, like how a con artist can con away your whole life of stuff by using tactic, by using, a lot of different things to cover up and do the whole setup that you cannot even realize is them. And that's what happened when the energy gets a lot higher up right here. The high level right here, right? It overflows too much. Those are happening because the energy is super high. Now, as a normal human being, you will not really understand how all these spiritual body and stuff works. But let me give you a little bit of example of what happened with the energy sometimes. Now, things that is created by your fasam, your energy body's heart, okay, your heart right here, always start things. Like when you have something triggered up here, okay, energy pump, you want to do something, like a starting point, click, you start something, okay? Okay, so let's say you look at this girl, and then you have this heart pump, and then you want to start knowing this girl, right? What happened is, after this happened, okay, energy flows down. It gets digested. Now, it's supposed to act like a guai right here. You're supposed to have the process, the idea, and the energy to want to suck in ingredient. The healthy kind of guai will be like food entering here, and it sucks up stuff and get processed right, and then go on and on and on, and then push out, okay? So the proper cycle for this energy body is like that. When you start, it will make you processing that intention you have, meaning that your mind will start to work, and then you will start to have all these internal thinking, logic coming up. Is it doable? Should I do it? Is it logical? Is it right to do? All that stuff. Now, if all that stuff in your subconsciousness is done processing, it goes to the top of this body, which is right here, your brain. Now, your brain gets the message, and then your brain can start to take that stuff and think about it. And then you'll be thinking, should I do this? Should I do this? See, all the time you have something in your brain, it's always like a pondering process, because you're done processing the intention, and now you're going to process how to do it, should I do it, making decision. And then you compare with the outside factor, and then think about it again after being like thinking it inside yourself, then you think about outside. It's always like that, right? You have this girl that you like, and you want to have a relationship with her. The first thing you think about is, do I like her? Right? Not like, does she like me? No. The first thing you think about is, do I like her? Really? Okay, sure, I like. And then you think about, will she like me? See, very logical. And so that's what happened, okay? Normal cycle of the energy. Like a food. You put in, it's supposed to come here, down, 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 and then out of your body. And then to the next station. Now, the energy body's next station is to this medium, the medium in between you and the energy's essence body. So this thing transfer it to you, and then it goes to your top again. So your brain takes it, and then you can look, digest, and then do all the digestion with your eyes, ears, hear before you speak. Right? That's what happened. So if the energy in this case is not healthy, meaning that your spiritual body right here, okay, all the energy is kind of like coming up here. Wow, so overflow, right? You love this girl so much, but the energy doesn't go here and get into your brain. What happened is you may act before thinking. Some people do it. They act before thinking. What happened? Wow, I like it. And then they rape the girl. You don't know what happened, but you just did it. And then, oh my, what did I do? You don't know why. Because all these negative energy, the not good stuff, is overflowing in your spiritual body. Now, this is a very extreme case, okay? But sometimes it's like love can turn to hate, and these kind of stuff, I'm talking about the extreme stuff, like when you rape the girl, but there can be other kind of more minor situation. For example, you can be doing something that is like not mature, and then it turn out something bad for the girl too, like for the girl to hate you, and that can happen. All these things that you do execute with your physical body is because your spiritual body have such a condition, and that leads to how your body acts in this world right here. Okay, this dimension. It's like saying your mind is the main control of your physical action. If you can control your mind, you can act maturely. What is mature? Meaning that you can get through all the processing stage and then start to speak. If what you speak is not mature, meaning that it's not even processed it through here and then to here, then what's coming out is not good because it's not processed it. It may be not something good for this world, not something good for yourself, because you need your brain, your wisdom to process all that stuff before you start to do or say. Now, as a Taoist or doing Taoist magic, we always deal with the energy body of ourselves. And the first thing is you need to know that we accumulate energies in that dimension that we talked about in the spiritual body dimension, the dimension 1. We accumulate and stockpile up and gathers up the energies in that dimension in our altar, in ourself. We accumulate, we do savings instead of just doing it, like a normal person, they will only use and then it's cycle, used and cycle. Now here is like I'm packing up my food into the fridge for my later use, that kind of stuff, okay? Now, I put in some stuff to the altar every day and it packs up the energy that I'm going to use later, which is what we call the magic power. Now, these things can be, they are neutral, like not the gui stuff and not the higher stuff, okay? They are the neutral stuff. Neutral stuff can be turned into anything later on because they're neutral, depending on how you use them. Now, when we are doing magic, we can depend on, okay, you can look at your body like this, okay? You have your top and your bottom, okay? If it's flowing downward in a normal pace, you're good. If it's coming up from here and vomit back up, it's bad, okay? When this one is going out too much, like squirting out stuff here too much, it's also bad, okay? It's like, okay, you are good right now in the middle because it's flowing right. Now, if you are like one of those super giver, like some people are like, oh, I want to give, and they go crazy giving. Now, what happened? It's not good for yourself because you'll be crazy. You give and give and give. You have nothing left for yourself. And that is stupid. That is not good. That is stupid. It's not like, oh, he's so loving. He give everything out. That is stupid. Now think about it. If you are in a situation penniless, you have nothing left for yourself. Now you need people to help you back. That is stupid. You should mind your own business and then keep yourself in a very healthy stage so that you have the potential in yourself to help others before you put your hands on other people. It's like while you're dirty, you don't clean for other people. Uh, if you are hungry, you feed yourself first before you can cook, right? You cannot cook for others when you're super hungry. You have to feed yourself first before you can work. That is how nature works. So, say the top is too energetic, doing too much stuff outside, giving too much stuff outside is not good. The bottom coming up and sucking up too much energy is also not good. So in order to achieve a balance in our spiritual body, we need to use the neutral energy and use our magic method to cultivate daily to balance out the energy body, to make it equalize and then circulate back in a certain way that makes it healthy. Like how human being, okay, too skinny or too fat or whatever, too high, okay, you need to balance the body to achieve a healthier state, healthier flow in order for your mind or body to be healthy. Now, for a Taoist or a whatever we call the magic practitioner, whatever, okay, we deal with that stuff, and it makes you more healthy inside your mind and make your physical body act more healthy. Like at least you get a full control of yourself internally and externally, meaning that you won't be like doing things that is premature. You don't do things that is crazy and leading you to a disaster. You will be doing things according to your mind and a normal healthy flow from your mind to the brain and out your body like this. So the kind of evil, the guai and the stuff that we talk about, the first type of stuff is always about the stuff inside yourself, the energy that you create, or the how you take care of your spiritual body that leads to the you right now having all these problems in your life. Some people, they have voices in the head, they have visuals and stuff. It's because of all these energy issues in the other dimension. And by using the magic that we cultivate, like these neutral energies in the altar, we can take and use them with some medium, like the fu and stuff, whatever, okay, other kind of method, and use it on a person to balance things out and make it flow right again. And by doing so, you can make that body healthy again and get rid of these, what we call the spiritual problem, the evil crap problem. Now, just dealing with yourself, okay, back and forth is pretty easy. Cultivate Taoist magic, or the magic that we teach, okay? Cultivate daily, you'll be doing better and better. It's like doing exercise daily, your body gets better. Now, doing this daily, the magic cultivation daily, your body gets better, okay? But sometimes it's not always yourself. Just like sickness, it's not always yourself. Sometimes you get contaminated. So if you go to like a bunch of friends and they're full of these energy and stuff coming out of them, okay? A lot of pollution coming out. And these things can stick on to people. When they stick on to you, you will get affected. And that is why sometimes when you go near a group of friends, you start to act like them. We call that influence. But then in the spiritual side, the energy side, is actually because their energy gets into you and you start to blend with them. Okay? It's like that. Clothing. You go into a smoke room, you get all the smoke on your clothing. Okay? When you go into somewhere that is dirty, you get dirty too. You go into a factory and you start breathing there for a few days, you start to get all this black things in your nose. It's very simple. Now, the spiritual energy is the same. You go over there, stay around your friends, and your friends is bad with these energy, you also get contaminated. Every day, you go and socialize with people, no matter online or local physically. When you social, energy transaction happen. Even by one email, one phone call, one message, energy is there. Because if there's no energy, you don't know about them, right? So communication, any kind of communication, there is spiritual energy coming out. These energies will get into you and attach to you, and some of them will get repelled. Some of them will eat into your system, and eventually you will get influenced by them. So by doing the Taoist magic, or whatever magic you want to call this, okay, we call this 三罗神功. You do these magic by cultivating daily. You want to get stronger because you're not only using them to deal with your own issues now, not only your little system right here, but also you have to face all that outside factors coming in. The bigger the pollution, more magic power or more energy that you stocked up is required to fight it off and balance it out. If your power accumulated is so small, you cannot have enough power to neutralize all these crap out there. And you really need a lot more energy than you think to override all these things out there. So that is basically what the Taoist magic is about. Like, why does one want to cultivate these magic that we teach? It's not because, oh, now I can do this trick, I can be blade proof, I can be, eating fire, showing people I'm so cool. It's not like that. It's because you want to take care of your spiritual health, your spiritual body, your Fat Sun, the health of that body, which is the body that actually will turn into the physical body's action, mental health, and all that stuff. It makes your life better by fixing this part up and also being able to do self-defense. And beside the defense part, it's also the prevention part, because you grow your own energy body. Okay, this dimension 1 body, you grow and grow and grow stronger. You put more stuff in there. Eventually, what happened? It's harder for the outside factor to come into you. When you don't develop that body, as a normal person, you will get affected very easily. The weaker you are, the more you are vulnerable to these negative stuff outside that will attach to you. But if you're stronger in that side with the body, you will less likely be contaminated or be polluted by these things. In the past, I used to call these the evil crab pollution, ECP. Well, that is pretty accurate too. It's more like these things that will change how your mind flows. As I talked about before, what is evil? Evil in our dictionary means something that will change the way how you should naturally flow to. Now, if your mind is supposed to flow this way to be healthy, these things jam your way and move you away from where you're supposed to flow. This is evil. Crap is because they are the ghost energy that actually comes out from other people, like the poop from other people coming to you. And these things are crap. And pollution, meaning that they do pollute you. You suck in the stuff and it's not healthy. So this is basically what it is, and why we do Taoist magic and cultivate so hard daily. It's not because, oh, I want to live forever, I want to live for 500 years. That is stupid. It's not like that. This is very practical. You see things all the time. Even when you're going to school, okay, you can have some friends who always take your pencil case, take your stuff, and then pollute you. And then sometimes after they take your stuff, and like a friend took your pencil, and then you took the pencil to do a test, your brain gets stuck all of a sudden. You don't remember the answers that you used to remember. Why? Energy affects your output. Even though you know something is inside, you can be all of a sudden stuck and not be able to retrieve that stuff from your brain. It's not your brain. It's stuck between the medium right here from number 1 to number 8. You're stuck. That's why you need to take care of yourself and get stronger to avoid these stupid pollution. They are there and it's part of life. Normal people, well, some people will say, well, can we deal with that without getting into Taoism, all that stuff? Well, now, I can say, okay, normal people, if you actually use your brain a lot, gain a lot of wisdom, you will be stronger than a lot of average Joe kind of people. Okay, but it's like saying, okay, if you use your body a lot, like a person who always lift up heavy things, okay, they use the body a lot. When people come and rob them and physically attack them, they can randomly throw out a punch and be very like powerful, right? But if the guy knows martial art, you're dead. Okay, same thing with this magic stuff. If you are saying that, okay, I'm using my brain a lot, I'm having a lot of wisdom, I know how to focus, well, okay, that is like a person who always lift heavy stuff. You can be stronger than average Joe, but then when the real strong stuff come, you're still going to be nuked. Okay? Because you don't know about how these things work, you don't cultivate daily for it, and you don't have the skills and also a savings of energy that you can pull out to override these things. Now, imagine the sky is raining. How much water can you take with both hands? We are born with this thing, and it's so powerful, right? Now, it's raining. You want water? You go like that? That is stupid. Now, human invented a lot of things to collect the water and then store the water. This is the same. You cannot keep a lot of things inside your body because we have limited capacity. That's why we build an altar. The altar is our storage. We put stuff there every day. Eventually, this thing stores up a lot of stuff that your body cannot have. An altar, well, yeah, read my article, the blog post on what is an altar, but it's really not like, oh, you have an altar, you pray to some kind of stuff. No, it's not like that. Okay, so another topic there. But this is really a storage. With the massive storage, now you can really fight off the spiritual stuff. Without this storage, you'll be super exhausted and you'll be nuked most of the time. And I'm just talking about the pollution between people, and people. What if there are other beings in other planets, other worlds, other universe that exist and jam into your spiritual body and do stuff to influence you? That is even a greater force. And these kind of stuff do exist. But I'm not going to get into that today because it's already too long. And so just want to make it clear again, guys. The reason for doing this Taoist magic and stuff is not because you want to like live forever and things like that. The word for 鬼 is not like that kind of stuff. Energy work. It's very logical. Very, very logical. And basically, if you do not believe in, this spiritual side of you, then basically you do not believe that we have a mind, a heart that actually feel. Like when you are in love with someone, this mind exists. You cannot test it with science. You cannot put a number, a color to this love. It's not explainable by anything in this world. You cannot explain. Because why? Because this thing exists before this world does. And our body in that dimension exists before this world does. Well, it's a lot of things to think about. And basically, if you are cultivating and learning in our lineage, you will really put your hands on stuff and you will get it and understand a lot more when you start doing the stuff. Just like I said before, when you want to learn how to swim, you have to get into the pool. You cannot just keep reading and watching people swimming, reading about swimming and understand what swimming is about. So without doing it, you don't understand. Anyway, so this is the Long Talk Show. Hope you guys like it. Remember to subscribe to my other channel, Teen Yet Dragon YouTube channel for more videos of this type. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share the video out, and such. So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.